Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel and some more Dead Man's Hand here. Today we're going to actually do an unboxing for one of the newer factions, and that is the Stranger, which is, if I'm not mistaken, taken essentially like Clint Eastwood and some of the cast and stuff from I think it's High Plains Drifter, and actually making that a faction. Obviously can't be called that for copyright and all that, but go back and look at the movie. Wonderful Western as well. But we're going to take a look at the Stranger. We've already, I think, done a review on the faction, but here just taking a look at the box and what you get as far as the minis go. So we'll be right back. Alrighty guys, getting in here. So this is a unique faction in the game. Most of the factions will come with about 7 models. So here we actually get 10. And we've reviewed the Stranger before. We'll get into just a little bit on that in just a second. But model-wise, it's an interesting mix. So a lot of the characters from the movie. So we have the Stranger himself here, right? And a little bit of mole lines and stuff to clean up on these. Fairly typical stuff, but it's interesting because we get all the Strangers, obviously like the focal point of the faction. One of the few characters or leaders actually here who like costs, I think, like 9 or 10 points compared to like the usual like 6 for like a leader. So that being said, the rest of the faction is a lot of these like townsfolk and like kids and teenagers and stuff like that. So we do get an interesting mix of weapons too. So several like shotguns and rifles, things like that. One thing like on this model too, I don't know what it is with the way that they either design these or package these. Sometimes wasn't too banged up, but every single time on like a rifle like this, I don't know if you can see that little indent there with like the bottom of the barrel, so it's going to be super flimsy. So I might have to like pop in a little bit of like green stuff or something like that just to stabilize that and keep that from snapping. It's a little easier to see that on the back end. It's almost like there's just like a cut inside that, and that's just stupidly flimsy. You might even see some of those like come with where like the barrel's already broken off, and that's obviously super frustrating on these metals. So that being said, that one's still salvageable. But again, good mix of models here. Again, we got all these different cast of characters from the film here. And again, just these various townsfolk. So interesting mix. But really, as far as like playing the faction, right, the Stranger's going to be doing the heavy lifting here just with his abilities and all that. And again, nice thing is does not care about nerve tests whatsoever. Which lets him ignore a lot of potential situations as well. Model-wise, again, though, everything's good. Again, just a lot of little mold lines, so there's going to be some trimming here, some filing just to get all that taken care of. A lot of little flash pieces and stuff to get cleaned up as well before we get in there. We always get our faction review card as well, so again, some of the stuff we were talking about, right? So the Stranger's going to be really good in hand-to-hand with that whip. And this is an interesting one. So uniquely, no other model does this. But if we're taking just a quick shot as an interruption, you can actually shoot twice, which is kind of bonkers. So be very careful when you're getting into an engagement with him. If he hasn't activated yet, the opponent has the ability to just shoot you twice for for you trying to engage him. So very deadly. One of the downsides, of course, of the Stranger is that he can't duck back because he's, well, fearless, so makes sense. And then essentially is immune to being out of ammo. Really cool, though, although it is still affected by the number 2 card for a few bullets more. So one of the few things that does affect him. So another downside of him, the faction-specific cards, so the face cards can't be applied to him, but certainly on the other faction members. And then just blanket-wise, for the full force, he doesn't have to test for nerve tests at all. And yeah, he just never ever takes a nerve test. There's no value for it on the stats for him. And so even like special rules and cards like Yellow Belly can't force him to fail a nerve test. So he's just, again, immune. And then when he's on the board and alive on the table, there's no need for the big nerve tests for him or any remaining characters. Whilst the Stranger is alive, the townsfolk are filled with hope and will not flee. So a fun ability here really just means, you've got a lot of townsfolk to deal with. They're fairly low costed, so not necessarily overly skilled for any one of these models. but there's a lot of them, right? There's 10 here. Most, again, normal faction boxes are coming in at 7. So you definitely can outnumber them. And if you've already gotten like an early lead, you can start building that pressure on the opponent too. And again, just letting the stranger do work. The only way you're really going to beat these guys is by taking down the stranger, but again, that's going to be easier said than done. So all in all, a cool faction, another nice new addition to the game for Dead Man's Hand. Let us know, guys, if you've picked up the stranger, and if you've already gotten some games in where you've had some success, and maybe where you've struggled with the list. Hit us up in the comments. Let us know too on your condition of the models as you've gotten them, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much.